Oh no, I saw the culprit's face. My mother-in-law rushed to my aid after I fell victim to a burglary. She's usually intimidating, but I always thought I could rely on her when needed. However, she suddenly changed and came at me with the tip of a knife. Why? Don't take it the wrong way. But the knife in her hand ended up in an unexpected place. My name is Maggie, 35 years old. I work for a major television station. After experiencing various departments since joining, I was able to transfer to the coveted news department a few years ago. Honestly, my days as a news reporter were so busy that I could say there was almost no private life, dedicating most of my life to work. That's why I thought I would continue to live alone, without getting married or having children, and I secretly planned my retirement. The one who showed affection for me was my current husband, John. My husband, 3 years younger than me, is a director working at the same television station. He himself spent a long time in the trenches and was promoted to director just 2 years ago. That's why when he told me he was into me, I doubted it was a joke. Honestly, he was a target of gossip within the station for being promoted to director at such a young age, and not just because of me, but he was quite popular with young and cute colleagues. I've always liked you, Maggie, and I worked hard at my job to get you to notice me. Please, as a reward for my efforts, could you go out with me? It turns out he has had feelings for me since he joined the company. However, to be honest, my first impression of him was like a younger brother, and I couldn't see him as a romantic interest at all. No, it might be a bit complicated. I prefer someone older. I get told that I'm mature. I'm confident that I don't come off as younger. At first, I rejected him many times, but as my heart gradually wavered to his unwavering feelings for me, we finally started dating. The subsequent marriage progressed smoothly, and that was a story from a year ago. After marriage, with concerns about age, we quickly started infertility treatment. However, what was revealed during this process was that I had a difficult time getting pregnant. Under the guidance of a doctor, we decided to visit the hospital for a while, but due to the busyness of work, it didn't go well at all. In the midst of accumulating stress and wasted efforts and money, we felt our limits. After discussing it thoroughly with my husband, we decided to live as a couple, without children. My husband respected my decision. However, my mother-in-law was furious about this. Originally, she didn't like the fact that I was 3 years older, and even before marriage, she didn't welcome me at all. Still, both my husband and I, working in the media industry, were well aware of the demands of our busy jobs. Thinking there wouldn't be frequent interactions, we got married without paying much attention. My mother-in-law herself, initially, didn't exhibit any sort of mistreatment or bullying typical of a mother-in-law. However, her attitude changed dramatically when she learned about our choice not to have children. Why aren't you having kids? It's probably because you married an older woman. She began angrily blaming and berating me, spreading the story that her son was deceived by an older woman and had a failed marriage. Honestly, I didn't care about the people around my mother-in-law and didn't want to associate with them. However, it was my husband who got furious about this. Mom, stop spreading weird rumors about Maggie. I explained that she's the person I've liked for a long time, and we finally got married. If you don't stop the bad-mouthing, we'll cut ties. Faced with the prospect of being estranged from her beloved son, she must have thought twice. After my husband clearly voiced his complaints, she stopped spreading gossip about me. Still, unable to contain herself, she would find opportune moments, unnoticed by my husband, to harass me. Next week, there's a family event. Count on you to be there. Suddenly being scheduled for events like this became commonplace. I'm sorry, but I have a demanding job, and I can't handle sudden plans. I've asked many times before, but if possible, I'd like to know the schedule a month in advance. You're talking quite arrogantly, huh? Oh, scary, scary. It's like bullying. You're the eldest son's wife, so it's only natural to accommodate the in-laws. If you can't do that, continuing with your job might be difficult, right? Oh, this isn't bullying, it's advice, you know? After repeatedly making snide remarks, my mother-in-law insisted it wasn't bullying. Perhaps out of fear of being estranged from her son, she carefully chose her words. If that's the case, why bother saying anything? And what kind of advice is that? One day, tired of her hidden bullying, a major event that would change my fate occurred. I won the first prize in the lottery. The reason I had a lottery ticket was that we were planning a special program about the lottery at work, and all employees were almost forced to buy tickets. Forgetting about it, my boss pointed it out, and to my surprise, I had one. There was a commotion at the office. Congratulations! Would you like to take charge of the program for the upcoming special? We want the experience of an actual winner. Of course! Special programs about the lottery are popular shows, with high viewership ratings at the end of the year. I was thrilled to take on a significant role, and honestly, I was happier about that than the money. That night, I promptly reported the news to my husband. As expected, he was incredibly surprised. Amazing! How much is the prize money? Roughly 100 million. Well, but a significant amount will be taken by taxes. Whoa! Treat me to beef bowl on our next day off. So funny. Be prepared for something more expensive. He burst into laughter at my remark. I really love these moments. I plan to temporarily keep the lottery winnings in our joint account. Since there wasn't anything particular I wanted, we considered buying a house, but both of us were too busy to search for one. Yeah, that's right. Besides, since Maggie won, you can use the money for whatever you like. How about decking yourself out in designer brands from head to toe? Oh, that could work for the special program's theme. I won the lottery, so I dressed myself in designer brands. Guess how much it cost? Why not just buy the entire store? No way! It's a waste of fortune. Even in the midst of discussing work-related matters, it was comforting to have a light-hearted conversation with my husband. As for the use of the lottery winnings, it was put on hold for the time being. However, such news tends to leak from somewhere. One day, my mother-in-law showed up at my house without notice. She approached me with excitement. Hey, Maggie, is it true that you won the first prize in the lottery? I wondered where she heard that. I froze, breaking into a nervous sweat. Did my husband accidentally let it slip? Regardless, I decided to be honest, as deceiving wouldn't help. Then, as expected of you, Maggie, it's like your luck knows no bounds. People with good conduct and hard work in their daily lives tend to be favored by luck when it matters. That's how God sees it, she said, clearly adopting a different attitude towards me. Good behavior and hard work, huh? I'm hearing about that for the first time from your mouth, though. Maggie, blessed by the gods. You wouldn't leave someone in need, right? Actually, I need you to lend me some money. The moment I heard those words, I almost stumbled. I see, no matter how much she praises, it ultimately comes down to money. According to my mother-in-law, she needed money for a dear friend, and she asked for a loan of $300. I'm currently looking for a part-time job. Even if I find one, won't the salary take some time to come in? I'll pay you back later, can you please help? If it's around that amount, it's okay. I thought that if it's just $300, she doesn't have to worry about repaying it. With that in mind, I willingly lent her the money. Little did I know that this would mark the beginning of my struggles with my mother-in-law's repeated requests for loans. A week after the initial 300, she asked for 500. Furthermore, in the following weeks, the amount increased, reaching a peak of 10,000. Naturally, not a single money was ever repaid. I began to feel that something was off, so I mustered the courage to reject my mother-in-law's request for money. "You haven't even repaid the initial 300 I lent you. Regardless of my lottery win, isn't it insincere to continue like this? If you can't repay, you don't have to worry about the past amounts. However, I'd like to stop lending you money from now on." "Oh, that's troublesome. This is troublesome for me too." Despite turning a blind eye to the money I had lent her so far, my mother-in-law persistently clung to her demands. "Hey, why do you need money so desperately?" It doesn't matter." Like a child, she turned away. "You two, working tirelessly with no children, even if you have money, it's useless. If you have plenty, just shut up and give it to me." She stormed out of the house, crying and screaming, as if I were the one at fault. I was dumbfounded. However, I couldn't fathom why she was so desperate to gather money. The mystery only deepened. One day, when I happened to have some free time during the day, I went home to retrieve some bank-related documents. My husband had been away on a short business trip since yesterday. When I entered the supposedly empty house, I felt a sense of unease. Faint sounds could be heard. "Wait, John?" Thinking my husband had returned for some reason, I called out, but there was no response. As I entered the room, "Oh, a stranger was ransacking the room, and the window on the balcony was shattered. Yes, I had fallen victim to a burglary. The burglar had a large mask to hide the face, but during the escape, the mask slipped. Panicking, he covered his face and swiftly fled, using a pre-prepared escape route. Despite the sudden fear freezing my legs, I managed to call 110 with trembling hands. Even when explaining the situation to the arriving police officer, I couldn't stop tears from flowing due to the terror. The police officer suggested calling someone trustworthy to come to the house, but my husband was away on a business trip, and my own parents lived far away. Taking a bold step, I called my in-laws, and my mother-in-law surprisingly answered. Subsequently, to my surprise, she hurriedly came to my aid. "Maggie, are you okay? Is it true that you were attacked by a robber?" "It's not a robber, it's a burglar. But thank you for coming." The police officer, leaving only a remark about investigating the culprit, left. That night, my mother-in-law decided to stay over. "You must have had a scary experience. I brought some food that I thought you'd like, Maggie." Her strangely kind attitude. Normally, I would have found it unnatural, but given my shaken mental state after the break-in, her kindness truly resonated with me. "To ensure you can rest, I'll take care of all the cleanup." "Thank you so much. This is the first time something like this has happened, and I'm scared." He seemed like a young man, but could he be one of those part-timers involved in the dark side of things that was recently featured in the news? "Wait, Maggie, did you see the criminal's face?" She abruptly changed her tone, but in my complacency within the secure environment, I overlooked the subtle change in her demeanor. "Yes. I was so flustered earlier that I forgot, but I saw the face when the mask slipped. I'm planning to call the police now." "I see." The next morning, my mother-in-law, who had prepared breakfast, suddenly changed, still holding a knife, and swiftly approached me. I didn't understand what was happening, but reflexively dodged her attack. "Oh dear, you saw it, didn't you? What? What's going on? Could it be that the criminal is someone you know, and you're the mastermind?" As expected, working at a TV station pays off. You're sharp. But I want you to forget about it. With the knife pointed towards me, she closed the distance. Wait, why? My mother-in-law, who had come to my aid faster than anyone, betrayed me. Don't take it the wrong way. I need money, because you didn't willingly give it to me. Okay, I understand. I'll give you the money, so please stop. But it might be too late now. If Jong finds out about this, we might be estranged. Desperate to escape my mother-in-law's relentless attack, I tried to call for help. However, she cut the phone line to prevent external communication, and she also took away the smartphone that was on the table. Considering running outside, but she refused to budge from the front of the door. Could I manage if I charged at her? I'm younger, so maybe I could escape with just a few injuries. But it was terrifying. Obviously, charging at someone with a knife is incredibly frightening. Stay put. As my mother-in-law closed the gap rapidly, at that moment, she stepped on a flipped magazine, stumbled, and lost her balance. In the process, the knife slipped out of her hand. I'm home. Maggie, the burglar is. Huh. My husband, who had cut his business trip short after receiving my call, suddenly returned home. The knife that flew out smoothly passed right by his face and embedded itself in the wall. Whoa! I stood there dumbfounded by the development, like something out of a manga, while my husband, in a wide-legged stance, stuck to the wall, his knees giving way. Regaining her composure, my mother-in-law, understanding the peril her beloved son narrowly avoided, screamed in panic. John. Are you okay? No injuries? He, who had been paralyzed by fear, panicked, but instinctively restrained her. Seizing the opportunity, I quickly called the police. John, let go. Mom. The knife that flew just now was aimed at Maggie, wasn't it? Although he didn't see the situation, seeing the knife flying into the chaotic room made him instinctively sense the danger. Soon after, several police cars arrived, and about 10 officers stormed into the room. She, handcuffed in a flash, was taken away, wailing. My mother-in-law was arrested, and the truth behind the break-in was revealed. The culprit turned out to be a host from the male host club she favored. Her motive for this crime was to steal my lottery winnings. It seemed she wanted money because she had been frequenting the male host club. Having accumulated quite a debt, she threatened to not pay it unless he helped her, coercing the guy into participating. Afterwards, he committed theft, and she was convicted of assault, but due to the absence of injuries and familial considerations, she received a suspended sentence. However, that didn't mean things went back to normal. Disturbed by the host, she embezzled money from our household and committed this heinous act. Enraged, my father-in-law rightfully demanded a divorce. My mother-in-law, now left with nothing, was not done dealing with the consequences. The events unfolded at my workplace, the TV station where I was employed. She was relentlessly pursued by reporters, subjected to public defamation, and unable to walk outside. In a panic, she moved to a distant rural town. Though she's now unreachable, rumors suggest she lives a lonely life. As for my husband and me, we continued to live a modest and sensible life without indulging in extravagance. Winning the lottery is a dream for many, but acquiring a large sum of money can throw one's fate into disarray. Let us all hope that unexpected windfalls won't ravage our lives, and that we can live our current happiness prudently.